Welcome back to my channel. My name is Sunny, and today in this Angular 19 tutorial series, we will be exploring one of the most fundamental concept in Angular, that is parent-child communication. So whether you are a beginner or an experienced developer, mastering this concept is crucial for building dynamic and interactive application. So let's get started. So in Angular, parent-child communication allows us to share data between the components. So typically a parent component passes data to its child component, and sometimes the child component send data or event back to the parent. So we will be covering four common techniques to achieve this. First is at the rate input decorator to pass data from parent to child. At the rate output decorator with event emitter. This is used to pass data from child to parent. Third one is view child to assess child component methods and properties from the parent. And last one is shared service to enable communication between unrelated components. So let's dive into each of these techniques with some practical examples. So you can see this example which I have already created. A parent component called user list component, uh, a child component called user details component. Now the parent component will pass a user object from the child to the child. So you can look on this code. So here we are using at the rate input decorator to receive the user data from the parent. You can see in my screen. Now let's look at the parent component. As you can see, we are binding the user property of the child component with the select user object from the parent component. Now when we run the application, the child component will display the user details passed from the parent. Now let's see how to send data from the child to the parent using at the rate output decorator and event emitter. In a child component, we will trigger an event when a button is clicked. So here we define an event emitter called user updated, which emits a message when the button is clicked. In the parent component, we will listen to this event and display the message. So we are going to understand all these ways to pass data between the components, and we are going to do it practically today. So about the shared service, we already know it. We have done some practice before by creating the service in Angular. So let's do the action now. So I am going to create a component user list, and let's create here to make, let me think, interpolation or okay. So first of all, let's open the terminal, and we already know how to create a component. So I created this component user list, and second one will be user details. Now let's create a router for it, link in the router for it. It's a user list component, and here I'm going to give user lists. Now I have to go to my navbar. So let's create a link here. So you can see we have successfully created a link at the top. Now I will be using this example. So in user list component, I'm going to create a variable, or I would say it is a object. So I created this object, select user. Now in my user list component, I will be calling or use the user detail as a child. So first line user list, this is just a header, or I would say like inside as to I just given a message, it's a user list, and now I have to call my child component. So I have to go to ts file. I can see what is the selector name. It's app user details, like this, and this this is also called property binding, one of the binding method or technique in Angular. So this variable which I declare selected user, I have to pass here like this. Now it's giving error. Why it's giving error? Because we are working with the standalone components. So I have to call this user details component as I'm calling it selector in my component file in user list. So in ts file I have to import it first. Why it's giving error still? Let's restart. Hmm. What could be this error? Can't bind to user since it isn't a known property of as user details. Okay, so let me remove. Will it fix the error? Yes. Okay, so now what we have to do, uh, this user is equal to selected user. We have to use this in user details component. Add direct input like this and this I think like this. For the time I'm making it as a any because we don't have created any interface for it, and hopefully it will fix the error. Yeah, it's fixed. And I think here we don't need this common module. Now as a input user, we got it in user trail component, and let's try to use in its HTML file like this with the help of interpolation, and see it should display object. Yes, it's correct. Now let's convert it into JSON. No pipe found with the name JSON. Okay, we have to import common module then. User tail component, we have to common module here. Yes, it's working actually, but we have to I think refresh our let's restart server as well. So I think we can give like this here, maybe. You see, object is displayed here, user object, and the user dot name is John Dew, user dot age is 30. So this is a way to pass data from parent to child. So what we did here, in user list we declared selected user, and we want to use the selected user in our child component. Here we called selector of user detail component, pass data to it, user is equal to selected user, and got this user with the help of input decorator user any, and with the help of interpolation we displayed it in our template file. So this is how we can do parent child communication. So this is a way of sending data from parent to child. Okay, now let's understand how can we send data from child to parent. So this is my child component. Here I created this button notify parent. In button on click event I'm going to create a function notify parent. So I have to create this notify in my TS file, and here it has given error. Okay, button is created, no worries. So what I'm going to do, if I have to send this data back to parent component, then I have to use add direct output decorator. So here we can use add direct output decorator. uh, we can call notify user or something, and then we can use this otherwise, this syntax. At the rate output user updated is equal to new event emitter. We have to import from Angular core, and it will be like string. So here this user updated dot emit, and I can pass my message, passing message to parent from child component. Now how we have to uh, get this back to we have to send this message back to parent. So now look on the syntax. So for the time I will restart server. Okay, so user details. Now look, no, sorry, this one, user list, user details. We have to copy this user updated, brackets user updated. We can create a function now. Let's uh, show child message like this one, and then at the rate event. Now in my user list I have to create this message, show child message, uh, event like this, alert. Okay, so let's make it string like this. So let's see if it's working. Property show child message does not exist on the type user list component. Show child message is already declared here, and it is the name of the function. So what could be problem? No, it is done. Yeah, you can see this. So we are receiving this message from child to parent. So now what I'm going to do here, let's give a message as string is equal to nothing, is empty, and that this dot message is equal to dollar event. And this message we can print here, h3 like this. So let's try out. So currently there is no message. You see passing message to parent from child component. So this is how we can send data from child component to parent component with the help of output decorator. Next is using view child to access child component methods. So the parent can directly call child method using view child. So how we have to achieve this? So let's say I'm going to create a function in my user detail component. So here I created this function. Now I want to access this function in my parent component. How can I do it? Let's do it understand it practically. We can do it with the help of a view child decorator. So here in my user list component, let's assume I created this button call child method. Now I have to create this call child method in my user list component.ts. To save time, I will just copy paste. Now you can see child component does not exist on the user list component. So what we have to do here, we have to use view child. So we can use it like view child. We can import from Angular like this, and then we have to use user details component like this, child component, uh, user details component. So this is the show message function which we have created in user detail component. So this is how I can use the method which has been created in the child component in my parent component. So let it refresh. So what will happen? You are seeing this call child method. This button is actually in user list component, and by clicking it, we will be calling the call child method, and it will directly call the method which is present in child component by this way, and it is alerting hello from child component. So this is how we can use this view child to uh, use the functions of a child component. Now last one is shared service. Shared service we already have used it, but uh, so I think this video is going to be very big. So I will cover the this shared service again in my next video. So if you like my video, then please do like, share, and hit the bell icon. So let's catch up in next video. Thank you for now.